Every person in this world is walking on a completely different journey, and that is something we often forget when we start comparing ourselves to others. From the moment we are born, our circumstances are not the same. Some people are born into supportive families, some into struggle. Some grow up with guidance, resources, and opportunities, while others have to figure everything out on their own. Because of this, the pace and direction of everyone's life naturally become different. When you compare yourself to someone else, you ignore all these invisible factors and judge yourself unfairly. You only see the result, not the process behind it. Think about how misleading it is to compare timelines. One person might achieve success at 20, another at 40, and someone else even later. That does not mean the person who succeeds later is less capable or less valuable. It simply means their journey required more time. Life is not a race where everyone starts at the same line and runs toward the same finish. It is more like different roads leading to different destinations. When you compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 10, you create unnecessary pressure and disappointment. You start believing you are behind when in reality, you are exactly where you need to be. Everyone also faces different struggles that are not visible from the outside. Someone you admire may look confident and successful, but you don't know how many failures, sacrifices, sleepless nights, or personal losses they endured to reach that point. At the same time, you underestimate your own struggles because you live with them every day. What feels normal to you might be incredibly difficult for someone else. Comparing outcomes without understanding struggles distorts reality and damages self-worth. Another important truth is that people grow at different speeds in different areas of life. Someone may be financially successful but emotionally unhappy. Someone else may have peace and purpose, but not material success yet. When you compare only one aspect of your life with someone else's highlight, you ignore the full picture. No life is perfect, and no journey is complete in every area at the same time. Your background, personality, mindset, and experiences shape your path in unique ways. These differences are not weaknesses, they are part of what makes your journey meaningful. When you accept that everyone's journey is different, you stop rushing, stop blaming yourself, and start focusing on steady progress. You realize that growth is not about being ahead of others, but about moving forward in your own life, step by step, at the pace that is right for you. Comparison has a quiet but powerful way of stealing your confidence and inner peace. It doesn't happen all at once, it happens slowly, almost invisibly. At first, you might admire someone else's success or lifestyle, but over time that admiration turns into self-doubt. You begin questioning your own abilities, your decisions, and your worth. Even when you are making progress, comparison makes it feel insignificant. You stop celebrating your achievements because someone else seems to be doing better, and that constant mental comparison drains your emotional energy. One of the most damaging effects of comparison is how it shifts your focus. Instead of appreciating what you have and how far you've come, your attention moves to what you lack. Your mind starts creating a list of shortcomings that may not even be real. This habit trains your brain to see deficiency instead of growth. Over time, this negative focus creates dissatisfaction, even in moments that should bring happiness. You could be improving, learning, and moving forward, yet still feel empty because comparison convinces you it's not enough. Comparison also creates unnecessary pressure to meet unrealistic standards. When you measure your life against others, you often adopt goals that are not truly yours. You feel rushed to achieve things before you are ready, simply because someone else has achieved them. This pressure leads to stress, anxiety, and burnout. Instead of moving with clarity and purpose, you move with fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of being judged, and fear of not being enough. Peace disappears when your self-worth depends on how you rank against others. Another hidden cost of comparison is that it disconnects you from your own identity. You start shaping your life based on external validation rather than inner fulfillment. Decisions are no longer guided by what feels right to you, but by what looks impressive to others. This constant need for comparison traps you in a cycle where satisfaction is temporary. Even if you achieve something, the joy doesn't last, because there is always someone ahead to compare yourself with. Inner peace comes from acceptance and self-trust, and comparison destroys both. It keeps your mind restless, always measuring, always judging. Confidence grows when you recognize your value without needing approval or comparison. The moment you stop comparing, you reclaim your peace. You begin to see that your worth is not determined by others' achievements, but by your own effort, growth, and integrity. When comparison ends, clarity begins, and with clarity comes a calmer, more confident version of yourself. The most meaningful competition in life is not with others, but with the person you were yesterday. When you compare yourself to your past self, the focus shifts from proving something to the world to improving something within you. This kind of comparison is healthy because it is honest and realistic. It allows you to measure growth based on effort, learning, and consistency rather than external results. Even small improvements matter because they represent progress, not perfection. When you compete with others, you often feel discouraged because there will always be someone faster, richer, or more successful. But when you compete with yourself, every step forward becomes a win. Waking up earlier than you used to, being more disciplined than last month, or handling situations better than before are all signs of growth. These changes may not look impressive to others, but they transform your life over time. Personal progress builds real confidence because it is earned, not borrowed from comparison. Self-competition also helps you stay focused on what you can control. You cannot control other people's talents, opportunities, or timing, but you can control your effort, mindset, and daily habits. When your attention is on your own improvement, distractions lose their power. You stop wasting energy watching others and start investing it in yourself. This focus creates momentum, and momentum makes consistency easier. Over time, small daily actions compound into significant change. Another important benefit of competing with yourself is that it removes unnecessary pressure. You no longer feel the need to rush or meet society's expectations. Growth becomes personal rather than performative. You give yourself permission to learn, fail, and improve at your own pace. Mistakes stop feeling like proof of failure and start feeling like feedback. This mindset builds resilience because setbacks no longer define you, they guide you. When you look back and see how far you've come, motivation becomes internal. You don't need external validation to keep going. Your progress speaks to you, reminding you that change is possible through consistent effort. This inner motivation is powerful because it lasts longer than motivation fueled by comparison. It keeps you moving forward even when results are slow or invisible. By focusing on being better than your past self, you create a life built on growth rather than pressure. You move forward with patience, clarity, and purpose. Progress becomes sustainable, confidence becomes natural, and success becomes a personal journey instead of a competition with the world. Social media has completely changed the way people see success, and it has made comparison more dangerous than ever before. Every day you scroll through images and videos of people smiling, traveling, achieving goals, and living what appears to be a perfect life. What you are seeing, however, is not reality. It is a carefully selected highlight reel. People choose what to show and what to hide. They share victories, not failures, happiness, not pain, confidence, not doubt. When you compare your real life to these edited moments, you are comparing truth with illusion. The problem is that your brain does not always recognize this difference. Emotionally, it reacts as if what you see is the full story. This leads to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. You start questioning your own progress, even if you are doing well. A normal day in your life begins to feel boring or unsuccessful simply because it does not look like what you see on your screen. Over time, This constant exposure creates unrealistic expectations about how life should look and how fast success should come. Your uniqueness is not a weakness, it is your greatest strength, yet comparison often convinces you otherwise. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you start believing that you must look, act, think, or succeed like them in order to be valuable. This belief slowly disconnects you from who you truly are. You begin ignoring your natural talents, interests, and instincts, and instead chase versions of success that were never meant for you. In trying to become like someone else, you lose the very qualities that make you special. Every individual carries a set of experiences, struggles, perspectives, and abilities that no one else in the world has. These differences shape how you see life and how you solve problems. When you accept your uniqueness, you stop forcing yourself into roles that don't fit. You begin to grow in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Confidence grows not from copying others, but from understanding and trusting yourself. The more aligned you are with who you are, the stronger and more grounded you become. Comparison often pushes people toward imitation, but imitation leads to mediocrity. When you copy someone else's path, you are always one step behind because you are following instead of creating. The world does not reward copies, it rewards originality. History remembers people who embraced their individuality, not those who tried to blend in. Your ideas, voice, and way of thinking may feel ordinary to you, but they can be powerful and inspiring to others precisely because they are different. Another important truth is that uniqueness allows you to define success on your own terms. When you stop comparing, you stop chasing validation and start chasing fulfillment. You begin setting goals that align with your values, not society's expectations. This shift brings peace because you are no longer living to impress others. You are living to grow, to learn, and to become a better version of yourself in a way that feels authentic. When you honor your uniqueness, you give yourself permission to move at your own pace and succeed in your own way. You stop competing and start creating. Life becomes less about fitting in and more about standing strong in who you are. In embracing your individuality, you unlock confidence, purpose, and a sense of freedom that comparison can never give you.